Lagos did not sleep. Blinked in neon. On Victoria Island, generators hummed like restless spirits while traffic horns stitched impatience into the night. Inside a glass-walled office overlooking the lagoon, Daniel Adebayo loosened his tie and stared at the email that could end him. Merger suspended pending board confidence review. His tech logistics company, Zipgo, was bleeding cash after a failed expansion. Investors whispered that he was reckless, unstable. Worse, unmarried at 38. The board wants family optics, his assistant Amaka had told him that morning. They trust married men. Especially with Alhaji Balagan leading the vote. Marriage. In 3 weeks. That was how he found himself sitting across from a woman in a modest mustard dress at a cafe in Yaba, where tech bros and poets shared the same weak Wi-Fi. Her name was Nneoma Okoye, 29, primary school teacher. She smelled faintly of chalk dust and shea butter. "You're offering me 5 million naira, she said calmly, stirring her zobo. "To pretend to love you." "It's a business arrangement," Daniel replied. 6 months. Public appearances. Small wedding. After the merger, we divorce quietly. Nneoma's eyes were steady. "And what do I tell my neighbors in Surulere? That I married a stranger because NEPA bills are high. You tell them you fell in love." A Danfo bus roared past outside, music thumping. She watched it, thoughtful. "My school is closing," she said finally. "The landlord doubled the rent. If I don't raise money, 60 children lose their classrooms." Daniel blinked. "You didn't mention that. You didn't ask." Silence stretched between them like Third Mainland Bridge at dusk. She extended her hand. "I'll do it. But I have one condition." "What?" "When this is over, you will fund the school. Fully. No excuses." Daniel hesitated, then shook her hand. He didn't notice the way she studied him afterward. Not like a bride. Like a witness. The proposal was staged at a rooftop lounge in Lekki. Influencers. Drone cameras. Champagne fountains. The city glittered beneath them like spilled diamonds. When Daniel knelt, applause erupted on cue. Nneoma's smile was radiant, but her whisper was not. "Your investor, Chief Balagan," she murmured as he slipped the ring on her finger. "How long have you known him?" Daniel kept smiling for the cameras. "Since my father's time." "Ah," she said softly. "Then this marriage is deeper than business." Before he could respond, flashes exploded. #ZipgoLove trended within hours. But the next morning, headlines shifted. Anonymous blog accuses Zipgo of data theft from small retailers. Daniel's stomach turned to ice. At the emergency board meeting, Chief Balagan dabbed his forehead with embroidered cloth. "This scandal is unfortunate," he sighed. "Perhaps the stress of wedding planning distracts you, Daniel." "It's a lie," Daniel snapped. "We've never stolen client data." Balagan's eyes flicked to Nneoma, seated quietly beside him. And yet accusations rarely appear without smoke. That night, in Daniel's Ikoyi apartment, Nneoma walked barefoot across marble floors. "Who has access to your back-end servers?" she asked. "My CTO. 2 engineers. Me. And Chief Balagan." "He's an investor, not technical." She turned to him. "Trust is expensive in this city, Daniel. Sometimes the person shouting 'thief' is counting your money." He frowned. "What are you implying?" Instead of answering, she pulled something from her handbag. "Flash drive. I think someone wants your company cheap." Rain fell like gossip against the windows. They sat at his dining table, laptops open. Nneoma moved with surprising precision, navigating folders, tracing timestamps. "You said you're a primary school teacher," Tade muttered. "I am." "You type like a hacker." He paused, then sighed. "I studied computer science at UNN," she said quietly. "First class. I built a payment security app during NYSC. It was stolen by a partner who registered it under his uncle's name." Daniel's chest tightened. What was the uncle's name? She met his eyes. "Balagan." The room seemed to tilt. Chief Balogun invested in my startup years ago, Daniel whispered. He said he believed in young innovators. He believes in ownership, Nneoma replied. She opened the flash drive. Screens filled with logs. External downloads routed through a private IP address linked to Balogun's holding company. He's siphoning client data, she said. Then funding blogs to accuse you. When your valuation drops, he'll buy majority shares. Daniel pushed back from the table. Why help me? After what he did to you. Nneoma's voice was steady. Because he doesn't just steal code. He steals futures. My students deserve better than men like that. Before he could respond, his phone buzzed. Mucka. Sir, she whispered urgently. The board has called an emergency vote tomorrow. They're removing you as CEO. Daniel looked at Nneoma. The fake bride was now his only ally. The wedding day arrived wrapped in gold osoabi and suspicion. Guests flooded the event center in Ikoyi. Drummers thundered. Jollof steamed in silver trays. Socialites posed beneath floral arches. Chief Balogun arrived last, Agbada flowing like authority itself. During the reception, just before the couple's dance, Nneoma tapped a spoon against her glass. I have a gift for my husband, she announced sweetly. Projector flickered to life. At first, guests chuckled, expecting baby photos. Instead, spreadsheets appeared. P-logs, transfer records, emails. Murmurs rippled through the hall. Balogun stiffened. These, Nneoma continued, voice clear as church bells, show systematic data theft from Zipgo clients, redirected to a shell company owned by Chief Balogun. Daniel stepped forward. An independent forensic team verified this yesterday. Balogun laughed too loudly. This is a wedding, not a courtroom. No, Nneoma said. It's a revelation. Security officers entered. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, tipped off anonymously 2 days earlier. Balogun's smile cracked. You ungrateful girl. He hissed at Nneoma as cuffs clicked around his wrists. After I funded your education. She froze. Daniel stared at her. Funded. Balogun spat on the floor. Her father begged me for school fees. Paid. Ownership begins early. The room spun. Nneoma's father had died years ago, believing Balogun saved them. But ownership. That was a lie she had never agreed to. As Balogun was led away, the guests erupted. Not in scandal but applause. The bride had rewritten the script. 2 months later, Lagos still buzzed, but differently. Zipgo's valuation soared after the scandal cleared. Daniel remained CEO, this time with stricter oversight and public transparency pledges. In Surulere, a freshly painted building stood where peeling walls once sagged. Ikoyi Digital Learning Center. Children in bright uniforms recited multiplication tables between coding lessons. Daniel stood beside Nneoma under the mango tree in the courtyard. The contract is over, he said gently. You're free. She smiled. I was never trapped. He hesitated. Was any of it real? The city hummed beyond the fence. Hawkers calling, okadas weaving through traffic, Afrobeats drifting from a passing car. I agreed for my school, she said. But I stayed because I saw a man willing to fight for what's right. And now, she extended her hand, not as a hired bride but as an equal. Now we start without contracts. Daniel took it. Above them, Lagos roared on, hungry, glittering, unforgiving. But somewhere between deception and courage, 2 people had chosen integrity over fear. And in this city, that was the rarest merger of all.